son in that house, still refuses to move, still keeps it.
Gotti children, not God's children. Got you. Here's the corrected opening commentary, focused on what happened to John Gotti's children and family before transitioning into Carmine Agnello Jr. Bishop Low IRL. Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New Jersey, Chicago, focused on what happened to John Gotti's children and family before transitioning into Carmine Agnello Jr. Bishop Low IRL, opening commentary, what happened to the Gotti children? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching from around the world. Greetings to everybody watching in New York City, Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Staten Island, and Long Island. Greetings to South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New Jersey, Chicago, Detroit, Texas, California, and everybody watching across America. Greetings to the Caribbean, Canada, the United Kingdom, Africa, Europe, and everybody watching Bishop Low around the world. Welcome back to Bishop Low IRL, First News First. And family, before we get into this extraordinary breaking story involving Carmine Agnello Jr., I want to go back because some of the younger people watching this live stream may recognize the name Gotti, but they may not understand the family. John Gotti wasn't simply a famous organized crime figure. He was also the patriarch of a family whose children would spend decades living underneath one of the most recognizable surnames in America. So before we talk about the grandson, what happened to the Gotti children? John and Victoria Gotti had 5 children: Angela, Victoria, John Jr., Frank, and Peter. And every one of those children inherited something they never asked for: the Gotti name. That name brought money, attention, power, fear, television cameras, federal surveillance, newspaper headlines, and consequences. John A. Jr. Gotti. John Gotti Jr. followed his father into the world of organized crime. After his father went to prison, Jr. became associated with the leadership of the Gambino crime family. But eventually, Jr.'s own life became consumed by federal prosecutions. He served prison time. He faced multiple trials. And after several prosecutions ended without the government securing another conviction against him, Jr. publicly maintained that he had left organized crime behind. Imagine that legacy. Your father becomes one of America's most notorious mob bosses. And suddenly everybody expects you to become the sequel. Victoria Gotti. Then there's Victoria. Victoria Gotti took a dramatically different road into public life. She became an author, a columnist, a television personality, and eventually millions of Americans were introduced to her household through Growing Up Gotti. And that's where another generation entered America's living rooms, her sons, Carmine, John, and Frank Agnello. 3 young men growing up underneath not one famous surname, but 2, Agnello and Gotti. And now all these years later, Carmine Agnello Jr. is back in national headlines. Not because of something his grandfather did, not because of something his uncle did, not because of something his father did, but because of his own federal criminal case. But there is another Gotti child whose story remains heartbreaking. Frank Gotti was only 12 years old when he was struck and killed while riding a mini bike in Queens in 1980. A child. 12 years old. Whatever anybody thinks about John Gotti or the life he lived, a mother and father buried their son. And that tragedy became one of the darkest chapters in the Gotti family's history.
Karma, revisiting the family. Karma. Revisiting. Circling the
John Gotti's other children, Angel and Peter, generally lived much farther outside the glare that surrounded Victoria and John Jr. And that alone teaches us something. Because when your father becomes John Gotti, privacy becomes almost impossible. Some members of the family stepped directly into public view. Others largely avoided it, but none of them could completely escape the surname. And here's what makes this story so fascinating. John Gotti died in federal custody in 2002. More than 2 decades later, Gotti is still a headline. The patriarch is gone, The organized crime era that made him famous has changed dramatically.
Marcus,
Growing up Gotti has been off television for years, but another generation is still dealing with its own triumphs, mistakes, and consequences underneath that famous family name. And that's why I want everybody to understand something before we begin today's story. Carmine Agnello Jr. is not John Gotti. A grandson doesn't inherit his grandfather's guilt. A surname isn't evidence. DNA isn't a criminal conviction. If Carmine is going to be held accountable, hold him accountable for Carmine's actions. And in this case, he has his own actions to answer for. He pleaded guilty in a federal fraud case. He received a prison sentence. And now his criminal case has collided with something intensely personal: his mother's fight for a kidney. The same Victoria Gotti millions watched raising 3 boys on television is now reportedly battling end-stage kidney disease. And one of those boys, Carmine, reportedly stepped forward to give his mother one of his own kidneys. But Carmine also has a federal prison sentence waiting for him. And that brings us to one extraordinary deadline: Monday, August 10th, 2026, 2 p.m. The kidney, the prison sentence, the mother, the son, the famous family, and the clock. Family, the Gotti story didn't end with John Gotti. Another generation is writing its own chapter. And today, that chapter may be written behind the walls of a federal prison. I'm Bishop Lowe. This is Bishop Lowe IRL. First news first. Now let's get into the kidney, the clock, and the consequences. This is the one I'd put immediately before your main Carmine commentary. It gives viewers who remember growing up Gotti the nostalgia, while giving younger viewers enough Gotti family history to understand why this story is attracting so much attention.
You see, what we do over here is journalism. Real journalism. Not that bullshit you see out there on them other channels. Now let's get into this shit. What happened to the Gotti children? Let's find out.
Once I see my father walk out, I went, takes me out of the car, takes me for a walk, and says, your brother's gone.
John Gotti's children grew up in the shadow of one of America's most notorious mob bosses. They witnessed tragedy, faced impossible choices, and carried a name that was both their inheritance and their curse. But it's what happened to them decades later that will leave you terrified.
Curse.
The foundation. Growing up, Gotti. The name Gotti carries weight in New York, a mixture of fear, fascination, and infamy that has endured for decades. John Joseph Gotti Jr., born on October 27, 1940 in the Bronx, rose from absolute poverty to become one of the most notorious crime bosses in American history. But behind the headlines, the trials, and the legend of the Dapper Don, there was a family, a real family with children who had to navigate the impossible task of being both John Gotti's kids and just kids. Today, we're diving deep into what actually happened to John Gotti's children. Where are they now? How did they survive the weight of that name? And what price did they pay for being born into one of America's most infamous crime families? Let me take you back to where it all began. Howard Beach, Queens, a quiet, middle-class neighborhood that seemed worlds away from the gritty streets where John Gotti Sr. grew up. This was where John and his wife, Victoria DiGiorgio, decided to raise their 5 children. Angela, Victoria, John Jr., Frank, and Peter. Victoria DiGiorgio, born on December 5th, 1942 in Brooklyn, came from a mixed heritage. Russian on her father's side, Italian on her mother's. The couple first met in 1958 at a Brooklyn bar. She was 16, he was 18. Their connection was leading to a courtship that unfolded against the backdrop of Gotti's budding criminal activities. They married on March 6, 1962, establishing a household that would become a sanctuary amid the chaos of mob life. But here's what's fascinating, and this is something that gets lost in all the mob movies and documentaries. John Gotti was, by many accounts, an attentive father. He threw extravagant parties, emphasized education, and insisted his children stay out of the life. He even sent John Jr. to the prestigious New York Military Academy, hoping structure and discipline would keep his son on a different path.
Did you know what your father, No. I knew nothing of it. Ironically, people ask that and they look at me sometimes like, oh, come on. But realistically?
That's Victoria Gotti, John's daughter, describing her childhood. And she's not alone in this experience. The Gotti children grew up in a world where their father's profession was quite literally the elephant in every room. Something everyone knew about, but nobody discussed.
I remember reading, Did I suspect that he was different, that things were different from an early age, maybe 12, 13? Yes, I did. I didn't quite understand, but the way we were raised was really, we didn't discuss certain things. And it was, don't ask, don't tell, don't, just be quiet.
Think about that for a moment. Imagine being 12 or 13 years old, noticing that your father is different from everyone else's dad, sensing that something isn't quite right about the men who come to visit, the whispered conversations, the way people look at your family, but being taught that asking questions is forbidden. The children enjoyed material comforts from Gotti's illicit earnings, including a spacious home and luxury items, which blurred the lines between legitimate family life and mob perks. But these material benefits came with a heavy price. Schoolyard taunts and FBI surveillance became part of daily life, with agents often parked outside their home, creating an atmosphere of paranoia and isolation. John Jr. had perhaps the most revealing experience of discovering his father's true identity. He was away at military academy when the full weight of reality crashed down on him.
I was in the day room. And we had a TV. The TV was in the day room. So we had some downtime. We were drilling, whatever have you, or playing sports. You go to the day room.
Brown, I know about that day room.
And I'm watching, and it was like an undercover operation. They're talking about the garment center. And I had a picture of my father with a gray sport jacket on.
Picture this. You're a teenage boy at a military academy, sitting in a day room with your fellow cadets, and suddenly your father's face appears on the television screen, identified as a captain in the Gambino crime family. Everyone turns to look at you, the whispers start, and in that moment, your entire world shifts.
And all of a sudden, I'm like sweating a little bit. I'm getting nervous. My sphincter's tighten up now. I'm sitting there.
The sphincter's tightening up. Oh, shit.
And all of a sudden,
hey, Google sphincter, yo. It's the muscle that keeps your brown eye from releasing all that shit inside of it. Huh?
Talking to each other.
It's the muscle that controls your brown eye. And it holds all that shit inside. And when you sat down, the sphincter muscle releases all the shit that's in the brown eye. Okay? You asshole. Yeah. Shots fired, nigga. What you gonna do?
My sphincter's tighten up now. I'm sitting there, I'm getting very uncomfortable. And all of a sudden, in the front row, they're like talking to each other.
All this time, y'all ain't heard none of these sound
The truth is, even before that televised moment, the Gotti children had been living with the weight of their father's.
Fucking kidding me. Y'all didn't hear nothing on the last broadcast. Holy shit. What in the fuck is going on with me,
and his
boy?
1974-1977 sentence for the McBratney murder
Holy
left
shit.
Victoria DiGiorgio to handle parenting solo.
You guys go visit my father. My first birthday, my father was doing a year in Riverhead. He was doing a larceny bid in, I think, auto theft bid, rather, in Riverhead. He did a year there. That was my first birthday. And then he came home for a brief amount of time.
John Jr. would later reveal that by the time he was 13 years old, his father had spent 9 of those years in prison. Think about that. More than 2/3 of his childhood without his father at home. Victoria DiGiorgio embraced the role of devoted stay-at-home mother, often raising the children alone during Gotti's frequent absences. In a rare 1999 interview with the New York Post, she reflected on their enduring bond. I have spent 39 years of my life with him, and God willing, I will spend the next 39 years of my life with him. Is John a saint? Oh no, I don't think so, but I love him. But Victoria's loyalty wasn't blind devotion. She expressed profound disappointment when their son John Jr. entered the mob, feeling betrayed.
That whole
by Gotti's
last
allowance
live
of it,
had
which
no
temporarily
microphone. This
fractured
is
their
crazy.
communication while he was in prison. Despite his criminal empire, John
I
Gotti
never
Sr.
plugged
tried
it
to
in.
maintain some semblance of normalcy for his kids. But as John Jr. describes, there was something undeniably different about his father, a presence, a swagger, a way of carrying himself that set him apart from every other father in the neighborhood.
Brown Lincoln Continental. That's what he came home in. A chocolate brown Lincoln Continental. Car pulls down the block, pulls in his driveway. We live in a row of houses. Second off the corner, with green awning, simple house. And he gets out of the car. He's got a light brown mock neck, chocolate brown suit with a matching overcoat. And he gets out of the car with jet black hair. And I've described it in my book. It was Tony Curtis with muscles. He came out of the car, he looked, and he just surveyed the area. He got out of the car, he shot his jacket, he fixed it, looked down, he saw it, I waved at him, and he just walked like he owned the place.
This was the duality of John Gotti, the loving father father who showed up in style, the man who commanded respect wherever he went, and the crime boss whose empire was built on violence and intimidation. For his children, reconciling these two versions of their father would prove to be a lifelong challenge, but nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared the Gotti family for what was about to happen on a quiet afternoon in March 1980, an event so tragic, so devastating, that it would change the trajectory of the entire family forever and lead to one of the most infamous disappearances in New York mob history. The tragedy that changed everything. March 18, 1980, Howard Beach, Queens, New York. It was just another Tuesday afternoon in the quiet, middle-class neighborhood where the Gottis lived. Frank Gotti, the fourth child, was 12 years old, the adored baby of the family. Victoria described him as her little doll in her memoir, dressing him up and cherishing his playful energy. Earlier that day, Frank had been fighting in school, getting into trouble as he often did. John Gotti Sr., who usually showed remarkable restraint with his children, had finally had enough.
She brings him in the house. She tells my father. My mother would take beatings from us if she had to. She was fiercely loyal to her kids. She says, Johnny, I'm telling you right now, don't put your hands down. Keep your mouth shut. Go get it.
But Gotti couldn't contain his frustration anymore.
Walks in the house. And as soon as he comes in the house, he had it with Frankie. And he gives him an ass whipping.
Are you there? You're seeing this?
No, I'm in military school.
Okay,
Away.
got it.
I heard afterwards, and that's when my father ate him up. It completely ate him up because he never put his hands on Frankie, but he had enough. And that was it. He told him, that's it. Go up to your room, you're punished, that's it. Blah, blah, blah. And he told my mother, he's not to leave this house. You understand me? He don't leave this goddamn house. That's it.
John Gotti Sr. then left the house on business. Frank was supposed to stay in his room, grounded. But like any 12-year-old boy would, he snuck out to meet up with his friends.
Frankie sneaks out of the house and meets up with some friends, goes on a mini bike, and gets hit by a car and gets killed.
I didn't know that story.
Yeah.
Frank was riding
Karma.
a motorized mini bike when he darted
Karma
out from behind
immediately
the
spun the
dumpster
block
into
and
back
got
of
his
an
kid.
oncoming car driven by neighbor John Favara. Witnesses reported that Frank rode unsafely into traffic, and Favara, momentarily blinded by the low-setting sun, struck him unintentionally.
So he came off the Belt Parkway, and the sun was low, and the car nailed him, hit him,
Nailed him.
dragged him about several hundred feet. He was stuck in the car.
The impact threw Frank under the vehicle, causing fatal injuries, including massive head trauma. He was rushed to Jamaica Hospital, but was pronounced dead shortly after arrival.
He's
The New York
dead!
Police Department ruled the incident an accident, with no charges filed against Favara, as evidence supported that Frank had entered the street abruptly without warning. Victoria DiGiorgio collapsed in grief when she received the news.
Awesome!
John Gotti Sr. was in Florida on mob business at the time the call came, and according to reports, it left him inconsolable. For John Jr., who was away at military academy, the news came in the most devastating way possible.
My father sent the car to come get me at military school, and they came to my room. They told me that put your service uniform on, and someone's coming to pick you up. Someone's coming to pick me up with my service uniform on. This didn't make any sense. So we don't know anything else. So I had to go to my quarters, put my service uniform on, my white gloves, my hat. I went and I waited. I sat there and waited. Car pulls up, and driving the car was the gentleman who did time with my father in Lewisburg. His name was Charlie Deek. Charlie DeCampo.
Charlie
And
Deek.
a gentleman named Mark, who recently died in prison.
Oh,
They picked me up, got the car.
everybody's
They
dying
didn't
over
say
here.
anything, didn't talk. They were
In
very
prison.
somber. And like Mark was sort of like holding back crying.
Imagine being driven home, not knowing what happened, seeing grown men, hardened criminals on the verge of tears, refusing to speak, the uncertainty, the fear building with every mile.
Get home, I pull in front of the house. They tell me, wait here. I see everybody by my house. A lot of people. They both get out of the car, and I'm in the car by myself. In the back seat, wait here. I can't get out and go to my own house. And I'm sitting there, fidgeting in the car.
And then
The father walked out. I went, he's okay. What could you do? And he takes me out of the car, takes me for a walk. He says, your brother's gone.
just 3 words, your brother's gone.
Who told you this?
It.
I am so sorry. I did not know this whole story. Wow.
The emotional fallout from Frank's death rippled through the family, exacerbating existing tensions and instilling a pervasive sense of loss that influenced their interpersonal relationships and individual coping mechanisms.
This story, Mark, this is taking place. I mean, it's... Oh,
Yeah. It was, you sort of think to yourself, You say maybe if I didn't go away to school when I was here, it wouldn't have happened.
The guilt, the what ifs. These are the things that haunt survivors of tragedy. And for the Gotti family, the grief was compounded by their father's public position.
So for several years, I beat myself up over that. But I know my father most certainly beat himself up over it. He would never show that emotion. My father was a true soldier.
John Gotti Sr. sat for 3 days during Frank's wake, greeting people from all over, Buffalo, Pennsylvania, everywhere, showing them his son.
He postured by that coffin, and he greeted people from all over. They came from Buffalo, Pennsylvania, they came from all over. And he greeted everybody, he walked them over, showed him his son, brushed his hair back, and he kept it all together. I couldn't keep it.
Oh my God, no way.
I couldn't keep it together.
But privately, that was different.
But when he had his own quiet time, when he had his own time, that's when he would mourn. You know, you'd hear him at night. He'd mourn.
And you ever saw him in front of you, like when he never showed it?
Never one time. He would do it. My bedroom was attached to his den. So the vent was right there. It was a thin wall attached. So where my bed was, there was a vent to the right side of my bed, and that's where the couches were. And there was a fireplace in his den. And I would hear him. I'd hear my father. He would mourn on his own terms to himself.
Victoria DiGiorgio entered a period of deep depression that she never truly recovered from. She still lives in the same Howard Beach house to this day, refusing to change Frank's room.
She often drifts back to Frankie Boy all the time. She's still in the same house. She won't change his room. She's never going to move on. I ask her to, Mom, move out to the island with us, get rid of the house, stay with us. No. She says, my son's in this house. I still hear my husband come up the stairs at night.
Wow.
I'm staying here.
Think about that. More than 4 decades later, and Victoria DiGiorgio still hears her dead son in that house, still refuses to move, still keeps his room exactly as it was. The tragedy didn't just take Frank. It froze a part of that family in time. But the story doesn't end with the accident. What happened next would transform this family tragedy into one of the most notorious mob tales in New York history. John Favara, the 51-year-old service manager at a furniture factory who struck Frank, had no criminal record. It was a genuine accident. The police said so. The evidence said so. But none of that mattered. Victoria DiGiorgio attacked Favara with a metal baseball bat during his attempted apology visit to their home, an act born of raw fury. Subsequent harassment followed, death threats, vandalism like slashed tires and smashed windows on Favara's property, forcing him to put his house up for sale. Then, on July 28, 1980, just over 4 months after Frank's death, John Favara disappeared. He was last seen being forced into a maroon Mercury Marquis station wagon outside Castro Convertible in New Hyde Park, Long Island, by 2 unidentified men. Witnesses described him being clubbed with a baseball bat before being bundled into the vehicle, which sped away. His car was found abandoned at JFK Airport, but no trace of him emerged, despite extensive searches. What happened to John Favara? FBI investigations and informant testimonies, including from Gambino hitman Charles Carneglia during his 2009 trial, suggested Favara was shot in the legs at a Brooklyn warehouse, chained to a wooden board, dismembered with a chainsaw while still alive, and dissolved in a barrel of acid. Other accounts vary. Some claim he was buried in a concrete barrel and dumped in the ocean, while a 2008 informant alleged Gotti ordered the hit at a Queens restaurant before departing for Florida to establish an alibi. Gotti denied involvement in taped conversations, dismissing it as bullshit, but the timing and circumstances fueled speculation. No body was ever recovered, and the case remains unsolved, classified as a presumed homicide. For the Gotti family, Favara's disappearance brought mixed emotions, relief for some, guilt for others, but ultimately a darker shadow over their grieving process. Victoria DiGiorgio reportedly felt justified, viewing it as closure. But for the children, particularly John Jr., this event represented something else entirely, a point of no return. Frank's death and Favara's disappearance profoundly shaped the siblings' lives and relationships, fostering a tight-knit bond forged in adversity, but also contributing to cycles of trauma. John Jr.'s mob involvement may have stemmed from a desire to honor his father's protective legacy post-Frank's death. The family was never the same, and neither was John Gotti Sr.'s approach to his children's futures, because after losing Frank, the one thing John Gotti wanted more than anything was to keep his remaining children safe, even if that meant pulling them deeper into the very world he'd once tried to shield them from. But could any of them escape, or were they already too far gone? The legacy, where are they now? The years following Frank's death marked a dramatic shift in the Gotti family's trajectory. John Gotti Sr.'s rise to become boss of the Gambino crime family in 1985 brought unprecedented attention. The Dapper Don was everywhere. Newspapers, television, the subject of endless fascination. But behind the headlines, his children were grappling with impossible choices about their own futures. Let's start with John A. Jr. Gotti, whose story is perhaps the most complex of all the siblings. Born February 14, 1964, John Jr. grew up idolizing his father. Despite attending New York Military Academy by his late teens, he was drawn into the Gambino fold, becoming an associate
Military
around
Academy and
1982.
West Point
His
Academy.
formal induction as a made man
Fucked me all
occurred
the
on
way
Christmas
up.
Eve 1988 at age 24, making him one of the youngest fully
Hey, Tally,
initiated
welcome
members
back.
in Mafia history.
I apologize for having no mic at that last video. I didn't even know it.
Sr. was
Never
sentenced
plugged
to
the
life
son
in
bitch in.
1992. John Jr. stepped up as acting boss from 1992 to 1999, but he was inexperienced, and associates plotted against him. In 1998, John Jr. was indicted on federal racketeering charges. He pleaded guilty in 1999 to reduced charges, receiving a 77-month sentence and a $1 million fine. His mother pushed for his plea and exit from the mob, but the government wasn't done. Released in 2004, he faced immediate re-indictment. What followed was surreal. His first trial in 2005 ended in a mistrial. A second in 2006 also mistried. A third in 2006 again deadlocked. Prosecutors dropped charges in 2006 after 4 mistrials. Then came a 2008 Tampa federal indictment charging him with conspiracy to commit 3 murders. The 2009 trial ended in mistrial, and in 2010 the government declined retrial. John Jr. claims he formally left the mob in 1999. Today he lives quietly in Oyster Bay Cove, Long Island, married to Kimberly Albanese with 6 children, including John Gotti III, a professional MMA and boxing fighter. He authored the 2015 memoir, Shadow of My Father. But even in 2025, controversy persists. In February 2025, a $50 million lawsuit was filed against Kimberly and daughter Gianna over a high school basketball game altercation. Now, Victoria Gotti, who took perhaps the most public path. Born November 8, 1962, Victoria carved out a career as a writer and television personality. She served as a columnist for the New York Post. She authored her first book in 1995, followed by mystery novels and her 2009 memoir, This Family of Mine, which became a New York Times bestseller. Television amplified her visibility. From 2004 to 2005, she starred in A&E's Growing Up Gotti, chronicling her life, raising 3 sons, Carmine Jr., John, and Frank. Her marriage to Carmine Agnello, which began in 1984, was tumultuous. Agnello was indicted in 2000 for racketeering, receiving a 9-year sentence. Victoria filed for divorce in 2003. Their marriage had begun with heartbreak. Their daughter Justine was stillborn in 1985. Doctors told Victoria she could never have children again, but she miraculously went on to give birth to 3 sons. In 2019, Victoria executive produced the Lifetime biopic Victoria Gotti, My Father's Daughter. As of November 2025, she maintains an active Instagram with over 172,000 followers. But 2025 brought legal troubles for Victoria's sons. In June, John and Frank Agnello were charged with assault for allegedly beating their brother-in-law. They pleaded not guilty, with the case ongoing. Additionally, Carmine Gotti Agnello pleaded guilty in September 2024 to COVID-19 relief fraud, stealing over $1 million, facing up to 20 years with sentencing pending. Angela Angel Gotti, the eldest daughter born in 1961, maintained distance from mob operations. In recent years, she's emerged as a digital advocate. By 2025, Angela became a YouTuber and podcaster. Her February 2025 YouTube video garnered attention. In June, she appeared on the Racket Report podcast. Peter Gotti, the youngest child born around 1974, had peripheral mob involvement. In 2002, he was charged with racketeering. Convicted in 2004, he received a 25-year sentence. In 2020, he was granted compassionate release. Post-release, Peter lives privately, maintaining the most reclusive persona. Victoria Gotti has perhaps the most poignant reflections on her father's final days.
I think it's the same thing that anybody who loses someone they love, does or says. I say it all the time, one more time I had said, I love you, how important he was. But he had this thing towards the end that he did not want us. I didn't know at the time, but
Gotti Sr. made his younger brother and son promise that when it got to the end, visits were to be stopped. He didn't want his children to see him that way. John Gotti Sr. died on June 10th, 2002 from throat cancer while in prison. Victoria reflects on her father's legacy.
You know, and he said, me, my gosh, he said, you know, he said, I would be home. He said, what I would give, he said, to sit in a chair and watch them all run around, jump all over me. He said, for me to look around and see what I built, what I created. And he would say to him, I can't believe that you would, you know, not feel like driving over or you would miss it.
So what happened to John Gotti's children? The answer is complex. They survived. They adapted. They carry scars visible and invisible. The Gambino crime family has weakened significantly, but the name Gotti remains synonymous with organized crime in America. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.
What happened
I sat down with the children
to
of
John
the late.
Gotti's children? Well, you know that his grandson is having some issues. Gotti.
Yes, that video, What Happened to John Gotti's Children, works well as the historical foundation for episode 1.
It's the
before we
historical
transition into the breaking Carmine Agnello
foundation
Jr. story.
to the Gotti family.
Yes, that video, What Happened to John Gotti's Children, works well as the historical foundation for episode 1 before you transition into the breaking Carmine Agnello Jr. story. Start with What Happened to John Gotti's Children. Hush! Your transition after the video family. Now you understand the family. You understand the name. You understand the history. You understand why, decades after John Gotti's death, the Gotti family can still generate headlines across America. But tonight, we're not here to romanticize organized crime. We're not here to retry John Gotti. And we're not here because somebody happens to have a famous grandfather. We're here because something extraordinary is happening right now involving John Gotti's grandson, Carmine Agnello Jr. And family. When I say extraordinary, I mean extraordinary. A federal judge essentially drew a line in the sand. Agnello had been given additional time before beginning a 15-month federal prison sentence so that he could potentially donate a kidney to his seriously ill mother, Victoria Gotti.
Who you
The
just saw
transplant was
there.
supposed to happen. Then Victoria developed a serious infection. The procedure couldn't go forward as planned, and eventually the federal court said, enough delays. The new deadline became Monday, August 10th, 2026, 2 p.m.
Today.
If the transplant occurred by the deadline, his surrender could be postponed until September 18th. If it didn't, he was ordered to report to prison. And family, look at the clock. 2 o'clock has come.
Give up your
2
kidney
o'clock has gone.
so
And as
we
we
can
begin
stay free
episode
for
1,
another
the
month.
question we're following is what happened to Carmine Agnello Jr.? Did he
Sick
report?
shit.
Was there a last-minute medical development? Did his lawyers return to court? Was another order issued? Or is confirmation simply taking time to become public? And this is where Bishop Low IRL operates differently. I'm not going to tell you that man is sitting inside a federal prison until I can verify that he's sitting inside a federal prison. I'm I'm not going to tell you he violated a federal court order until there's evidence establishing that. And I'm damn sure not going to turn speculation into breaking news because it makes a better headline.
You won't get that shit over here.
We wait for the receipts. But while we're waiting, we're going to unpack exactly how John Gotti's grandson arrived at this extraordinary crossroads between crime, punishment, family, medicine, and a mother's fight for her life. Because behind all the sensational headlines is a genuinely complicated question. How much compassion does the justice system show a convicted man who wants to give his mother a kidney before going to prison? And before you answer that, I'm going to make the question harder. What if his last name wasn't Gotti? Would you feel differently? Would the public feel differently? Would you give an ordinary defendant the same opportunity? Or would you tell him you were sentenced, report to prison? That's the conversation we're having
Get
tonight.
your ass to prison.
This is episode 1.
Fuck.
This is Bishop Lowe IRL, First News First. And tonight, we're following the Gotti grandson deadline. Let's get into it. The factual backbone is solid. The court required Agnello to surrender by 2 p.m. today if the transplant had not occurred.
Today.
While a completed transplant by today would allow surrender to move to September 18th. The operation had been postponed because Victoria Gotti developed a serious
A month
infection.
and a week early.
Site turn search, zero turn search, 11. I would to chapter 1. The 1.1 million COVID fraud case. What Carmine actually did before getting into the kidney controversy. Site turn search 1.
All right. Now, John Gotti's grandson, Carmine Agnello Jr., has been sentenced for a $1.1 million. I'm trying to find my notes here, y'all. I got them. I got them. I just got to find them. And I'm blind, so give me a minute or move the fuck on. Praise you, Lord.
Carmine Agnello, the grandson of infamous Gambino mob boss John J. Gotti, was hit with a 15-month federal prison sentence after pleading guilty to running a $1.1 million COVID-19 relief scam.
Anything you want to say?
Have a good day.
Agnello had nothing to say to reporters, but inside federal court in Central Islip, Agnello expressed his regret and remorse, telling the judge, "It was wrong, selfish, and criminal. I never wanted to find myself in prison. I carry a great deal of guilt and shame for my actions." Agnello's mother, Victoria Gotti, his brothers, and his uncle, John A. Gotti Jr., were in court for his sentencing.
Basically, I'm heartbroken. You got to sit and you have to watch. A kid, you basically changed his diaper. You got to watch him go to prison. So, what can you say at this point?
What can you say?
It's a heartbreak.
It's a heartbreak, you know what I mean?
Agnello received 3 years
Forget
sentence
about
for
it.
wire fraud in connection
Just
with
can't
3
forget
small
about it, you know
business
what I mean?
administration loans he fraudulently received
want
during the
coffee?
pandemic.
Talk over
Agnello,
coffee?
through his lawyer, had argued for probation
Yeah, let's
because
have a
he
talk.
planned to donate his kidney to his ailing mother, Victoria. Moments before sentencing, Agnello's attorney made a case for a lighter sentence, saying Agnello had a troubled childhood.
Look. Give your fucking mom a kidney. we'll let you fucking, we'll give you a month in the week, give you a little month in the week to recover. You know what I mean? Then you go check in. What the fuck kind of shit?
In connection with the 3 small
Nah, I
business
think I'll keep my
administration
kidney. I think I'll keep my kidney, and I'll go in early. Yeah, give me that month now. Yeah. Mom's almost out of here. You know what I mean? She wasn't the greatest, mom. Oh shit, she was Victoria Gotti. Come on, she threw me a beating every fucking day. You kidding me? You want me to give her my fucking kidney? What are you nuts? Come on. Yeah, come on. You gonna take me in today? Yeah, I don't think she got that kidney, yo. What y'all think? Put a 1 in the chat if you think, Carmine Gotti Agnello Jr. gave up that kidney. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 2 in the chat if you think he said, hey, Ma. Hey, Ma. Yeah, fuck you. I gotta go to jail. All right, I gotta go. All right, listen, it was nice. You were nice. Yeah, sometimes you were cool, Mom, but no, fuck that. You're not gonna get my kidney, okay? 2 in the chat if you think he said, hey, the hell with this shit. I'm going in today. 2 o'clock. Guy's a fucking thief. He's a thief. Yeah. A T-E-E-F. A thief.
You have to watch the kidney basically. What could you say at this point? It's a heartbreak.
Prosecutors have recommended Agnello receive a 3-year sentence for wire fraud in connection with the 3 small business administration loans he fraudulently received during the pandemic. Agnello, through his lawyer, had argued for probation because he planned to donate his kidney to his ailing mother, Victoria.
Hey, listen.
Attorney made a case for a lighter
Listen,
sentence,
Your Honor, listen. My client here, he's got a deal. He's going to want to give you a deal here. All right, listen up, Judge. If I give my kidney to this old lady over here, my mom, you think you guys could throw me a little probation? No jail time, stealing all that money, 1.1 million from COVID fraud I did. What do you think? Come on, Yana, come on. This fucking Gotti's grandson here. Come on, this is Gotti's grandson here. What are we gonna do? You going in, my boy? You going in? Who the fuck who your grandpappy was? He was slap happy anyway. Trust me. He slapped plenty of motherfuckers in Brooklyn. God damn it. Hey, where's my fucking money? Smack. Got it. He smacked a few motherfuckers. Threw him a beating with a bat. Bada bing. Come on. The fuck out of here with that bullshit. You going in, pal. You going in with your kidney, too. I'm betting $1 to a fucking New York City donut and Dunkin' Donuts. I'm telling you. This motherfucker ain't giving up that kidney. I said this son bitch ain't giving his mama his kidney. Shit, he ain't the bishop. Hey, it's a cold fucking world out here, okay? God damn it, what the fuck you talking about? I said it's a cold fucking world out this bitch. A kidney? You know the recovery time on kidney surgery? If you recover? Somebody better bless their damn Lord. I don't think old Vicky getting a kidney.
Agnello had a troubled childhood where 15 family members.
You asking a motherfucker with a troubled childhood. Hey, can we get your kidney for your mama? Who you think was one of the key characters in his troubled childhood? I said, who the fuck you think was a central figure in his damn troubled childhood? I said, who you think was one of the main characters in the storyline of his troubled childhood? Probably his parents. A mother being a parent. I don't think she's getting that motherfucking kidney, y'all. Shit.
Prison.
Wait. I got a question. Hold on. God damn it. I got a motherfucking question. Hold up. How does this shit even work? Did Victoria Gotti tell the judge, hey, tell that motherfucker I need a kidney? He ain't talking to me. I said, talk to my son and see if he'll give me a kidney and then offer him maybe a month more on the streets before he actually goes in, because he's literally going in regardless. Kidney, no kidney, he going in. for stealing $1.1 million from some sick ass COVID people. Yeah, put his ass in. Fuck him. Fuck him. Take his kidney, goddamn it. Put him to sleep in the court and take his kidney anyway and put him in the goddamn jail. In the prison. And let him wake up kidney. One kidney. How many kidneys you got? 2? And then let him, 2? I don't know. I probably got half of one. But listen, yeah, snatch his kidney into sleep.
Attorney also
Do like God did him. Yeah. Put him to sleep. Yeah. God said it caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. Nigga. He had to. And that's how you know Adam was a nigga. Because you ever try to get a rib from a nigga while he's awake? Huh? Try it. Had to put that son bitch to sleep to get that goddamn kidney. Adam was a nigga. Amen. Let's go on.
Agnello's desire to donate the kidney to his mother showed a lack of selfishness.
Carmine's story
lack
is
of
very
selfishness.
compelling and very unusual.
Wait a minute.
He didn't have a normal.
Wait, they building a story. Listen. Did you hear that shit? I missed my thought on that shit. I
Said
gotta get these
Agnello's
shits out
desire
quicker.
to donate a kidney to his mother showed a lack of selfishness.
A lack of selfishness. That's what it was. It fucked me all the way up. So you telling me this son bitch that stole $1.1 million? Huh? You telling me that this millionaire who stole $1.1 million, check his net worth, because you know I already have. You telling me this son bitch here thinks that by giving up his kidney to his mom is going to show that he's an unselfish person after being convicted, charged first, indicted, and convicted, and subsequently sentenced for theft. Being a thief is unselfish. Damn right. I agree. Shit. Hey, listen. You sold me. I don't know about my audience, but you sold me. Fuck it. Free this man. Remove his sentence immediately. He was willing to give up a kidney.
Where 15 family members
Did he give it
ended
up?
up in prison.
15
His attorney also said Agnello's
family
desire
members.
to donate a kidney to his mother showed a lack of selfishness.
Carmine's story is very compelling and very unusual. He didn't have a normal childhood, and I think that he had a warped sense of reality, and that's what led him to the actions that got him sentenced today.
The judge met him.
Okay, let's pay attention, especially for you. Hey, brother Ferris, show this shit to your lawyer and make sure he don't say none of that shit when y'all in court. I'm gonna rewind this shit so you can hear it clearly. Forward this shit to your motherfucking lawyer, nigga.
He also said Agnello's desire to donate a kidney to his mother
Forward
showed a
this.
lack
Listen.
of selfishness.
Carmine's story is very compelling and very unusual. He didn't have a normal childhood, and I think that he had a warped sense of reality, and that's what led him to the actions that got him sentenced today.
The judge met him.
Okay? Tell your lawyer, don't say none of this shit. I'm telling you, man. Don't listen to the bishop for once. Do not allow your lawyer to say, if he say any of that shit while he's standing there next to you, oh, they can't let you in there with that shit. But never mind. But look, one more time. Do not.
Childhood, and I think that he had a warped sense of reality, and that's what led him to the actions that got him sentenced today.
The judge met.
Make sure you listen further while you in there. Make sure you say these words out of your mouth. This is very important. I take full responsibility for my actions, and I am not a victim. I'm going to tell you how to get, I'm going to tell you, nigga. I'm going to help you through this shit. I take full responsibility for my actions, and I am not a victim here. Now, y'all think I be, you think y'all don't know? I don't give a fuck what y'all think. It's still a ministry over here.
And halfway, sentencing Agnello to 15 months instead of the maximum 41 months in prison, and ordering him to pay more than $1.2 million in restitution.
The judge understood it. She's fair. And that's all you hope for when you walk into court.
The Teflon Don's grandson must turn himself in to begin his prison sentence on July 20th.
Take care, guys.
For Newsday TV, I'm Virginia Huey.
Now, you heard the date July 20th, and then you heard today. Because I had to build this case for you here, so y'all niggas understand what's going on. Okay? Now we're going to get current. So I do things over here. Blind as a motherfucker. Okay? Now, I wanted y'all to hear about why he's facing prison. A sentence of 15 months. So now you know why. Instead of me just telling you some shit, you know what I'm saying? Now, where we at with this shit? Let me see. I didn't have time to make any music on this shit, no other desire. So, just got me today. No music. We might have some music later on tonight. Maybe one of these, I'll talk about Andrew Gillum's nasty. Methed up ass. That boy is fucked up. Andrew Gillum. Shit. Hold on, sorry. Hey, y'all like the direction the show is going in? Doesn't matter. Still fucking going. How about that? Okay, hold on, y'all. I was finishing up my commentary, but running my mouth, that damn video was short. I didn't realize it was short.
John Gotti's grandson will spend 15 months in prison for a COVID fraud scheme. Carmine Agnello walked out of federal court in Central Islip with his attorney and relatives, including his mother, Victoria Gotti. Agnello pleaded guilty to fraudulently obtaining more than $1 million in multiple disaster relief loans. Prosecutors say he used some of that money to invest in crypto. His attorneys and his uncle spoke outside of court.
You gotta sit and you have to watch. The kid, you basically changed his diaper. You're gonna watch him go to prison. So he didn't have a normal childhood, and I think that he had a warped sense of reality, and that's what led him to the actions that got him sentenced today.
Agnello was also ordered to pay $1.2 million in restitution, serve 2 years of supervised release, and perform 100 hours of community service.
Interesting. Hold on, y'all.
What we're about to talk about is so upsetting. Perez Hilton, who really
Fuck Perez Hilton. Who gives a fuck about Perez Hilton? Hold on, y'all. Let me get my shit together. Harvey fucking Levin. Fucking doing on my screen. This for you, bitches, for having that bastard on your screen. Shame on you. Oh. Oh shit. Hey guys, just got a message. Really? Wow. That's crazy. I was just talking about this shit. Oh man, this is a long fucking hold on, man. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can find y'all something to listen to. Hold on. Anybody in here? I can't even see. I'm waiting for my music to upload. I have a bad storm out, so they don't got no fucking signal. Oh, they might have cut my goddamn internet. Wow. Hold on. The fuck? Too many things at once, y'all. Hold tight. Anybody still here? Trust me, you won't want to go anywhere.
Bishop Low IRL.
Breaking news!
Episode 1.
Breaking news!
Gotti Granson. The kidney, the conviction, and the prison deadline. The judge said enough. Now the sentence begins. Here's the complete live stream assembled in order, starting with your Gotti family video, moving into Carmine Agnello Jr.'s criminal case, and finishing with today's developing surrender story. Bishop Low IRL, Episode 1, Gotti Granson, the kidney, the I checked for a post-deadline update before putting this together. The newest reliable reporting I can find still establishes that U.S. District Judge J. denied Carmine Agnello Jr.'s third request for another postponement and ordered him to self-surrender to the Bureau of Prisons by 4 p.m. today, August 10th. Newsday independently reports that J. Chudhuri denied Carmine Agnello Jr.'s third request for a post-deadline update before putting this together. The newest reliable reporting I can find still establishes that U.S. District Judge Nusrat J. Chudhuri denied Carmine Agnello Jr.'s third request for another postponement and ordered him to self-surrender to the Bureau of Prisons by 4 p.m. today, August 10th. Newsday independently reports the same
It's
4 p.m.
4:05
deadline.
p.m.
I am not yet finding reliable
checked
published
in?
confirmation that he physically surrendered, right? So I would make that distinction a major part of your commentary rather
We're
than getting
unsure
ahead of
whether
the
or
story.
not he has checked in.
At Haj Bishop Low
To begin his
IRL breaking
15-month
update,
sentence.
Ash Gotti Granson, the 4 p.m. deadline and the final reprieve denied family. We have reached the hour. What's going on, family? This is Bishop Low IRL, first news first. And if you've been following this story with me from the beginning, then you already know that today was always going to be the day when something had to. For weeks, we've been talking about a federal prison sentence. We've been talking about a kidney. We've been talking about Victoria Gotti's health. We've been talking about Carmine Agnello Jr.'s request to remain outside federal custody long enough to potentially give his mother what she desperately needs. And we've been talking about one question. How long will the federal court wait? Family. We have our answer. The judge has denied Carmine Agnello Jr.'s third request for another postponement. And according to the latest reporting, Carmine was ordered to surrender to the Federal Bureau of Prisons by number 4 p.m. today, August 10th, 2026. So this story has moved. We're no longer talking about what the judge might do. We're no longer asking whether the defense will get another extension. We're no longer wondering whether September 18th will become the new surrender date. The judge said no. And now we're waiting for the receipt. Let me correct something for everybody who has been following this story throughout the day. Earlier reporting had watching a 2 p.m. deadline, but today's newest reporting established that the operative surrender deadline became 4 p.m. And that is why responsible reporting matters. When information changes, you change with the information. You don't keep repeating something because that's what you said 3 hours ago. You correct it, you update it, and you tell your audience exactly what changed. So as of this latest development, the request for another delay was denied. The transplant is not currently scheduled, and Carmine Agnello Jr. was ordered to surrender by 4 p.m. But listen carefully. I am not yet telling you that Carmine Agnello is physically inside federal custody. Why? Because I don't have that receipt yet. There's a difference between the judge ordered him to surrender and he surrendered. Those are two different facts. And Bishop Low IRL isn't combining those two sentences just because it would make a hell of a thumbnail.
It's going to make a hell of a thumbnail when it comes out, though.
Now let's understand why the judge apparently reached this point. Carmine's position has been unusual from the beginning. This wasn't simply, Judge, I don't want to go to prison yet. His mother, Victoria Gotti, reportedly needs a kidney transplant. Carmine was prepared to serve as her living donor. The court had already accommodated that extraordinary circumstance.
He was never going to do it.
But then medical complications developed. Victoria reportedly suffered infections. The planned transplant could not proceed as originally expected. And the defense essentially came back to the court saying, give us more time. Let Carmine remain available. If Victoria becomes medically cleared, he can donate the kidney. Then he can surrender. But eventually the judge had to ask, when? Not, do you still intend to donate? Not, do you love your mother? Not, would this transplant be important? The question becomes, when is this surgery actually going to happen? And according to the latest reporting, prosecutors represented that there was no transplant surgery scheduled. That changes things, because now you're asking a federal judge to delay an already imposed sentence based upon a medical procedure that does not currently have a firm date. And apparently the judge concluded that is no longer enough.
Nope.
Family,
Just
this
said
is
no,
where
no,
the
no,
story
no, no,
gets
no.
complicated because I can already hear both sides. One side is saying, lock him up. He committed the crime. The other side is saying, damn, let the man save his mother.
Man, fuck that
And I'm
shit. He
telling
ain't
you,
thinking about saving his mom.
both sides are
Think
responding
about
to
saving
something
his
real.
asshole,
Yes,
his brown
Carmine
eye.
committed a federal
From them
offense.
motherfuckers
He
waiting
pleaded
on that shit
guilty.
in that
He
damn
was
prison.
sentenced. There has to be accountability.
Waiting
But
on that
yes,
shit in the
his
prison.
mother
His
is
brown
reportedly
eye, he trying to
seriously
save
ill.
it.
And if her son is
His
medically
asshole.
compatible and willing to donate a kidney, that matters too.
Give a fuck
The
about his
challenge for the
mama.
court is that
Worry about
compassion
his
cannot
brown eye.
automatically become an indefinite postponement. Otherwise, where does the court draw the line? September? October? Christmas?
Yeah, what are we waiting for?
Next
Christmas?
year?
What the fuck?
What happens if Victoria develops another infection? What happens if doctors need another?
These are important questions. I want you to hear them again. I hope I ain't fucked this up. I did. I fucked it up. Almost right at the end. No, damn well I can't. Fucked it right up. Yeah, I fucked that up, y'all. What a fucking idiot. Maybe if I pause it. See something. Damn, I said pause like I was from Brooklyn just now. I must be from Brooklyn. God damn it. Yeah, this is non-responsive now. It done kicked me off. This shit done kicked me off because of the storm. God damn. Out here brown eyeing himself and shit. God damn it. Hey, look, I'm probably about to get the fuck out of here because this shit pissing me off. I'm not about to start this shit over. Baby girl.
Yes, I'll talk to you whenever.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, make it home. Because your child's in a storm. Not that you give a darn about what your children got going on. I just left from taking the kids to the pool and now it's storming. Do you see how dark it is? It's 4 o'clock. I'm driving. What's not going to do? Oh.
Do you see that out there? I got the same shit going on. I got the same thing going on.
It's lightning and stuff. We had to get out the pool because it started thundering. Oh, listen, I was supposed to go to the grocery store. I can't come to you on live. You call me later.
Wait, what makes you think I'm on live?
You got a whole microphone to your face.
So, hi, boo. What you doing? You driving in the storm?
Yeah, I kind of.
Hi, grandson. Baby. Still got. What's up, boy? A member of what?
A member at the Marriott Club. Yeah. I'm about to start living.
As you living that rich bitch life? Your signal is horrible. You must be in a storm. This is my daughter, y'all. Hello? I don't even know how you got through. I'm on Do Not Disturb. But listen, I'm going to call you when you... I can hear you now. All right. It's the baby girl. Yeah, this ain't working. Storm. Like, really? I don't like this. What is this? What the fuck is going on? Anyway, had a major breaking, super, ooper, duper exclusive update and shit, but I fucked it off by touching buttons and shit.
I checked for a post-deadline update before putting this together. The newest reliable reporting I can find still establishes that U.S. District Judge Nusrat J. Choudhury denied
Nusrat J.
Carmine
Choudhury.
Agnello Jr.'s third request for another postponement
Nusrat J.
and
Choudhury.
ordered him to self-surrender to the Bureau of Prisons by 4 p.m. today,
4
August
o'clock.
10th.
Put your ass in
Newsday
here.
independently reports the same 4 p.m. deadline. I am not yet finding reliable published confirmation that he physically surrendered, so I would make that distinction a major part of your commentary rather than getting ahead of the story. Have Bishop Lowe IRL
They ain't
breaking
got
up
his ass yet,
Gotti grandson,
but they soon
the
to
4
have
p.m.
his
deadline
ass
and the final reprieve denied family.
in custody
We have reached the hour.
with his kidney.
What's going on, family? This is Bishop Lowe IRL. First news first.
With his
And if
kidney.
you've been
He
following
going
this
in with
story
his
with
kidney.
me from the beginning, then you already know that today was always going to be the day when something had to give. For weeks, we've been talking about a federal prison sentence. We've been talking about a kidney. We've been talking about Victoria Gotti's health. We've been talking about Carmine Agnello Jr.'s request to remain outside federal custody long enough to potentially give his mother what she
I'm not gonna
desperately
touch
needs.
no button, okay?
And we've been talking about one
I'm gonna
question.
just let this bitch talk.
How long will the federal court wait? Family, we have our answer.
Yes, we
The
do.
judge has denied Carmine Agnello Jr.'s third request for another postponement. And according to the latest reporting, Carmine was ordered to surrender to the Federal Bureau of Prisons by 4 p.m. today.
Bro, have your
August
ass in
10th,
here by 4 o'clock
2026.
today, nigga.
So this story has moved. We're no longer talking about what the judge
Today,
might
nigga.
do. We're no longer asking whether the defense will get another extension. We're no longer wondering whether September 18th will become the new surrender date. Hatch. The judge said no. And now, we're waiting for the receipt. The most important update. Let me correct something for everybody who has been following this story throughout the day. Earlier reporting had us watching a 2 p.m. deadline, but today's newest reporting established that the operative surrender deadline became 4 p.m., and that is why responsible reporting matters. When information changes, you change with the information.
That's right.
You don't keep repeating something because that's what you said 3 hours ago.
Come on
You
now.
correct it.
You
You
damn
update
right.
it. And you tell your audience exactly what changed. So as of this latest development, the request for another delay was denied. The transplant is not currently scheduled, and Carmine Agnello Jr. was ordered to surrender by 4 p.m. But listen carefully. I am not yet telling you that Carmine Agnello is physically inside federal custody. Why? Because I don't have that receipt yet. There's a difference between the judge ordered him to surrender and he surrendered. Those are two different facts. And Bishop Lowe IRL isn't combining those two sentences just because it would make a hell of a thumbnail. What the judge just decided.
Don't get no clickbait over here.
Now let's understand why the judge apparently reached this point. Carmine's position has been unusual from the beginning. This wasn't simply, Judge, I don't want to go to prison yet. His mother, Victoria Gotti, reportedly needs a kidney transplant. Carmine was prepared to serve as her living donor. The court had already accommodated that extraordinary circumstance. But then medical complications developed. Victoria reportedly suffered infections. The planned transplant could not proceed as originally expected, and the defense essentially came back to the court saying, give us more time. Let Carmine remain available. If Victoria becomes medically cleared, he can donate the kidney. Then he can surrender. But eventually the judge had to ask, when? Not, do you still intend to donate? Not, do you love your mother? Not, would this transplant be important? The question becomes, when is this surgery
The
actually
statement
going to
because
happen?
fuck the
And
transplant.
according to the latest reporting, prosecutors represented
Fuck
that
the
there
transplant.
was no transplant
Bring your
surgery
ass.
scheduled. That changes things.
No
Because now
transplant
you're
schedule.
asking a federal judge to delay an
No
already imposed sentence based upon a medical procedure that does not currently have a firm date. And apparently the judge concluded that is no longer enough. Family, this is where the story gets complicated because I can already hear both sides. One side is saying, lock him up. He committed the crime. The other side is saying, damn, let the man save his mother. And I'm telling you, both sides are responding to something real. Yes, Carmine committed a federal offense. He pleaded guilty. He was sentenced. There has to be accountability. But yes, his mother is reportedly seriously ill. And if her son is medically compatible and willing to donate a kidney, that matters too. The challenge for the court is that compassion cannot automatically become an indefinite postponement. Otherwise, where does the court draw the line? September? October? Christmas? Next year? What happens if Victoria develops another infection? What happens if doctors need another 3 months? What happens if another medical complication emerges? At
Then
some
this
point, the
motherfucker's
judge
still out
has
there
to
stealing
say,
money.
the
That's all.
sentence has to start. And
Because he a thief.
apparently, that point is now.
That's what thieves do.
Let's talk about Carmine's crime, because I don't want the kidney story to erase why this man has a federal prison sentence in
Let's
the
not
first place.
forget now.
Carmine Agnello Jr. pleaded guilty in a COVID relief fraud case involving roughly $1.1 million or more in improperly obtained pandemic relief funds.
It's always more if they say or more.
Family, remember what those programs represented. COVID shut businesses down. People lost jobs. People lost homes. Families were scared. Small business owners were desperately trying to survive.
And this dirty
the government
motherfucker
created emergency programs because the entire economy was under enormous stress. And whenever billions of dollars start moving quickly, somebody starts looking for a way to steal some of it.
Shit, I can steal
That's why
some of
federal
this shit.
prosecutors pursued these cases so aggressively. And Carmine ultimately pleaded guilty. So this isn't the government versus John Gotti's grandson, because he's John Gotti's grandson. No. He has his own conviction, his own sentence, his own responsibility. And that's something I want everybody to remember. You don't inherit your grandfather's guilt, but you also don't inherit immunity from consequences because your family is famous.
Damn sure don't.
Now let's talk about Victoria Gotti, because there's a woman at the center of this story who isn't serving this sentence. His mother. And that's where this becomes painful. Whatever anybody thinks about the Gotti family, Victoria's medical problem is real enough that plans for a kidney transplant became part of this federal litigation. And imagine being a mother knowing the kidney you may need is potentially inside your son's body, but your son has simultaneously been ordered to enter federal custody.
Fuck!
That's one hell of a situation.
Gotta get that kidney before you get in there.
This is why I keep saying
we need that kidney.
Crime doesn't only punish the person who committed it. The
Access
consequences
denied.
spread outward. Children feel incarceration. Spouses feel incarceration. Parents feel incarceration. Businesses feel incarceration. Families feel incarceration. And sometimes consequences arrive at the absolute worst moment
See what I'm saying? How
imaginable.
karma work?
Patch, consequences, don't check your calendar. Family, hear me.
Consequences don't check
call
your
you and
calendar.
Say, is Tuesday convenient? Consequences don't ask, is your mother healthy right now? Consequences don't say, we'll come back after your family gets through this crisis.
Oh, shit.
That's why choices matter long before the courtroom. Because once you've been convicted and a judge has sentenced you, you lose control of your calendar. Somebody else decides when you report. Somebody else decides where you live.
Consequences
Somebody
sometimes
else
takes
decides
time
when you
to
can
arrive.
Somebody else decides when you can see your family. That's incarceration. And that's the part people don't think about while they're making decisions that eventually put them there. Heck, the Gotti question. Now let's deal with the question everybody wants to ask.
Damn.
Did he get special treatment because his name is Gotti? I don't have evidence establishing that, so I'm not going to tell you that as fact. But I will ask this. Should every similarly situated defendant get the same consideration? That's the real test. If some unknown man from South Carolina or Brooklyn or Atlanta or Mississippi was sentenced to 15 months in federal prison and doctors established that he was prepared to donate a kidney to his seriously ill mother, should the court give him a reasonable opportunity to complete that transplant? I believe that's a legitimate question, because fairness isn't. Don't help Carmine because he's a Gotti. Fairness is, whatever standard you apply to Carmine, apply it to everybody. That's equality. And there's another important piece of today's development. This wasn't apparently the first time the court confronted the delay. Today's reporting describes this as Carmine's third request to delay the beginning of his sentence. That matters because every additional request forces the judge to reassess. What's changed? Is the surgery scheduled? Is there new medical information? Is there a realistic timeline? Are we moving closer to the transplant or simply moving the surrender date farther away? And apparently, the court reached the point where another delay could no longer be justified. That's a major distinction.
I'm sorry. I'm sitting
The
there
judge
writing
isn't
a sermon.
necessarily
I'm sorry. I'm
saying,
not even with y'all.
Shash saying, I don't care about your mother. The judge is saying, I don't have enough certainty that this surgery will actually occur during the additional time you're requesting. Those are not the same thing. So what happens to the kidney now? This is where our investigation goes next. Because federal incarceration doesn't automatically mean the kidney donation can never happen. Prosecutors previously argued that a transplant potentially could still be arranged while Carmine is incarcerated if it becomes medically appropriate. And family, that's going to be fascinating to follow. If Victoria becomes medically cleared next month, what happens? Does the Bureau of Prisons transport Carmine? Does the hospital coordinate with federal authorities? How does recovery work? Would he return to custody afterward? What security arrangements would be required? Those are the next questions. Because going to prison and donating a kidney are not necessarily mutually exclusive. And now, the receipts board. Family, here's exactly where this story stands. Confirmed. Carmine Agnello Jr. pleaded guilty in the federal fraud case. He received a 15-month prison sentence. His surrender had been postponed in connection with the proposed kidney donation. Victoria's medical complications disrupted the transplant plans. Carmine sought another postponement. The judge denied the latest request, and according to today's newest reporting, he was ordered to surrender by 4 p.m. Developing. Did Carmine physically surrender? Where is he being designated? When will federal custody records reflect his status? What happens with Victoria's treatment? And can the transplant still occur later? And here's what is not confirmed. I'm not telling you Carmine fled. I'm not telling you he violated the surrender order. I'm not telling you he's sitting inside a particular federal prison. And I'm not telling you the kidney transplant is dead. Not until I see the receipt. Bishop Lowe deep commentary, family. Here's what I'm taking away from this tonight. Shash, accountability, and compassion are not enemies. Some people think if you show compassion to somebody who committed a crime, you're somehow excusing what they did. No, you can say, you were wrong, and still say, I hope your mother survives. You can say you deserve the sentence, and still say, I hope the Bureau of Prisons accommodates a life-saving transplant if doctors clear it. You can demand accountability without becoming cruel.
You
And
can.
you can show humanity without becoming foolish. That's maturity.
Or
Because
you could
life
be
is
like, they're going to
rarely
say
as
that's a
simple
Gotti.
as
Fuck
good guy,
that kidney.
bad guy. Human beings are complicated. A man can steal money and love
A
his
lot
mother.
of people going to say that
A man
shit.
can commit fraud and be willing to give up an organ. A
6 and
judge
1.
can show
Half a
compassion
dozen
and
the
eventually say, enough. And a mother can desperately need her son, while the government simultaneously has the legal
Desperately.
authority to take that son's freedom. Live chat. You be the judge. So family, tonight, I want you to become the judge, not the prosecutor, not Carmine's lawyer. The judge. You already gave him additional time. The transplant didn't happen because his mother developed medical complications. He comes back asking for more time, but there's still no firm transplant date. What do? Do you give him until September 18? Do you give him another 30 days? Do you tell him to surrender but require cooperation with the transplant if Victoria gets medically cleared? Or do you say, hash enough, begin your sentence?
Get your ass in here.
Here's the challenge.
You and your
Remove
brown
the
eye.
name
Come on
Gotti
in
from
here.
your answer. Pretend you've never heard
Bring your
of
brown
John
eye
Gotti.
in here.
Pretend there was never a growing up
That means
Gotti.
get your ass in here.
Pretend there was never a Gambino crime family.
Yeah, let's just
It's
pretend none of
simply
this.
a convicted federal defendant, a 15-month sentence, a sick mother, a potential kidney donation. Now, what would you do? That's the conversation. Powerful closing. Family, we started this story with a famous surname, Gotti, a surname that has sold newspapers, books, movies, and television shows for decades. But tonight, that surname isn't what matters most. What matters is a federal court order.
A sentence.
What matters is a sentence. What matters is a mother waiting on medical treatment. And what matters is a son whose freedom and ability to help that mother have collided at exactly the same moment. The The defense asked for more time. The judge said no. The court reportedly gave Carmine until 4 p.m. That deadline has arrived. Now comes the next receipt.
Where's
Did he
your ass,
surrender?
Carmine?
Where did he surrender? Where will he serve the sentence? And what happens if
Where
Victoria's
you at?
doctors call tomorrow
People
or
want to
next
know.
week, or next month and say, Shack, we're ready for the kidney. That's when the story
Oh,
enters
we're ready for
another
the kidney
chapter.
now.
And Bishop Lowe IRL will follow it.
Nah,
But tonight
yeah,
I want to leave
we
you
got
with
him in
something
here.
bigger than Carmine Agnello.
We got the kidney for 15 months.
Don't wait until consequences
Can she hold
arrive
on
to
for
think about
15
who-
months?
Because when you make decisions that jeopardize your freedom, you aren't only gambling
think?
with yourself.
You think she can hold on?
You're gambling with every person
We'll look for
who
another
depends
one.
on
This
your
one is
presence. Your children, your spouse,
state property.
your parents, your family, your community.
Shit is
Sometimes
terrible,
the price of a bad decision isn't simply I have to go away. Sometimes the price is
I have to go away.
somebody I love needs me, and I can't be there.
Like your
And there
kids,
may be
sometimes
no clearer example of
gonna
that
need
than
you
a
when you
mother
gotta go to
potentially
prison
needing
and
an
shit.
organ from the son who has just been ordered into federal custody. That's heavy.
Shit's crazy.
That's accountability. That's humanity. And that's why we're going to continue following this story based on facts, not the Gotti legend, not internet rumors. The receipts. I'm Bishop Lowe IRL, First News First. And when we receive reliable confirmation of what happened after that 4 p.m. deadline, that's where episode 2 begins. As always, be good to yourselves, be good to others, and protect your peace and energy at all costs. Blessings. The two strongest fresh reports currently agree on the key development. The third delay request was denied, and the surrender deadline was 4 p.m. today. Site turn news 0, turn news 1. I can also keep Irma to report that Agnello actually entered federal custody. That should be the breaking opening for episode 2. Mem site.
Now, look here now. Now, I didn't even know I was going to have to do this, but I figured I'd write a little something out because something here needs to be said. Got my music up. Let me tell you why this is a problem for a lot of people. Shit like this and other things that may be going on that you people may be observing. Sometimes you wonder, why the fuck do consequences take so long to show up? Consequences. Repercussions. A lot of y'all might be wondering, damn, why does it take so long? Well, sometimes consequences must take their time. Let me explain this to you, family. Just give me a minute to get my thoughts together. One of the greatest mistakes that people make in life is believing that because nothing happens immediately, that ain't shit gonna happen at all. You did what the fuck you did on Monday. Tuesday came and nothing happened to you. Whew. Wednesday came and still nothing occurs. Yeah. A month passes. Maybe even a year passes on. Sometimes 10 years pass. And because the sky didn't fall in on your ass immediately. I said because your whole world didn't come crumbling down. You begin to believe you start to believe you got away with it, you're invincible. You can't stop a player at the top of his motherfucking game. Nah, player. It don't work like that. Sometimes consequences, repercussions are simply taking the long way home. Yeah. Stop to see this nigga. Stop to see that nigga. Allow you to continue in your unstoppable ways. I don't know where this message came from, damn it. But here we are. Sometimes consequences took a different route. Yeah. But you better bet your bottom dollar that consequences are yet on the way. Hey, man. Hey! Consequences, you see. Every consequence doesn't travel by express mail to that P.O. box. Hey! Some consequences come overnight. And some consequences come next week. Next year. Maybe 30 years later, in the case of Keefe D, consequences gonna find your ass if you still yet here on this journey. Sure as you born. Yeah. Some consequences come overnight. Some consequences come next week. And some consequences, they got your address. But they can't knock on your door just yet. They know where you're at. But it ain't the designated time to what? Designate your ass. Yeah, consequences. Repercussions. The fruits and rewards of your labor. I said your portion, nigga. Yeah, that's why you can't measure the wisdom of your decisions by how quickly the punishment, the consequences, the repercussions. Yeah, you can't measure the wisdom of your decisions based upon how quickly karma spins the block. Yeah. You thought that delay was cancellation of the debt? Sometimes the bill collector sends the bill late. You still gonna get that motherfucking bill. Might have been a delay in the counting. Might have been a delay in the postal service. But delay is not denial. Ain't that what you believers say? Yeah. Delayed but not denied, baby, is coming. Stay right there. Move around. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are, there is where it shall be. You know why? Because it is you, baby. It's your portion. Consequences and motherfucking repercussions. I didn't know this was going to turn into a damn message, but here we are. Here we are. It must be in me. It must be. Yeah, we were talking about Gotti. Gotti's grandson. And it done caused a bit and stirred up in my spirit a damn message for your spirit, you know? Might be for me. I don't know. Hell, if I'm the only one that receives something from it, then hey, to the universe be the glory. Now listen, delay is not cancellation of the debt. And I want you to hear me again. Delay is not cancellation. Sometimes you plant something, you plant a seed at 25 that don't produce a fruit till you 45, 55, 65. But just because it didn't happen when you planted it at 25 don't mean that surely, certainly, you won't reap a motherfucking harvest. Because you're going to reap a harvest. Yeah. For every soul you see, for every seed that you sow. And the seeds come from your heart, the ones that matter to your God. Don't forget, he knows my heart. He damn sure do. And he know what's in that ratchet ass heart of yours. Shit that requires consequences and repercussions. It's a message, y'all. I didn't know it, but take it. Fuck the messenger. You better get this goddamn message. You hear what I say? Delay is not cancellation of that debt. Sometimes you gonna plant something today and you gonna get your harvest later. And the dangerous part is this. By the time that old harvest shows up, by the time that karma, consequences, repercussions show up, guess what? You done forgot about the damn seed that you planted. Yeah. Here you are walking down the street, all Willie along with Nilly. They holding hands, Willie, Nilly, them boys. You walking down the street with them, Willie and Nilly, and you walking with your legs gapped. Picture this shit here. Now, you walking with your legs gapped. Yeah. And you know karma walking behind you. Right behind you. You ain't thinking about that shit you did when you did it. Furthest thing from your mind. And karma walks up and kicks you right in the crotch. What your legs gapped. Yeah, that's how karma works. Yeah. Karma gonna walk right up on you, kick you in your nuts, kick you in your crotch, and pick you up gently. When you on the damn ground bawling like a bitch. Wondering why in the fuck did this just happen to me? Well, it's karma, baby. It's your portion. You got to enjoy that shit. Yeah. You forgot the seed you planted. You forgot them people you mistreated. You forgot them people you exploited. You done forgot about them motherfuckers you manipulated. Oh, I got so many videos. I can't even fucking remember yours. Can you remind me did anything happen to you in your child? You mistreated somebody years ago. You burned bridges in your relationships years ago. You destroyed trust years ago. You cheated a motherfucker years ago. You lied to a motherfucker years ago. Oh, Lord Jesus. You stole from a son bitch last week. Uh-huh. You manipulated. You exploited. You perverted. You betrayed your children who loved you. By living a lifestyle that would affect them. Yeah, that's what you done. Many of you, some of us, I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking to myself. It doesn't matter. I'm going to talk. Mm-hmm. You betrayed somebody who loved you. And life kept moving on. Whew. I made it. God damn. Sweep that shit under the rug. Open your damn front door. You can't even push the fucking door open because the rug is stopping it. Because all that shit you got swept under your rug. Trip and fall to your death, breaking your neck, trying to get out the front door because the shit that's under the rug. I ain't talking to nobody in this audience. I'm talking to myself. You just kept moving on along. You sauntered through life like nothing ever happened. Nigga, you forgot, but the universe didn't. Nigga, you forgot, but the universe didn't. And it's been watching and waiting for the right opportunity to reel you in. Because you're going way off track. Consequences. Repercussions. Life kept on moving. So you thought that debt was canceled. No, nigga, no. You just in arrears on the payments. But the collector's coming. And it comes in many forms. See, you never know what karma is going to be dressed in. Huh? It ain't the Grim Reaper. You know what the Grim Reaper dressed in? Karma. Moving through the night. So you thought it disappeared. Some shit don't disappear. You know, I'm going to use the word. Hey, listen. You know something? Watch this shit. Look how good I am. On the fly. Here we go. Had a nice polo shirt. I said had because I got rid of it. And I'll tell you why in a second. Stay with me. I had this motherfucking polo goddamn cashmere shirt. $1,350 I paid for this motherfucker. A piece of fabric. One day, I was somewhere. I ain't gonna tell you where. But the shirt got a stain on it. A stain. S-T-A-I-N. Now, I don't know if the motherfucker was an oil stain from me choking a nigga out under the hood of a car. I don't know. But it has some blood on it also. It has several stains on it. $1,350 fucking dollars. If you don't think I tried to save that motherfucker, you got your whole life fucked up. I probably spent $300 trying to get that bitch clean. A piece of fabric, y'all. I'm the bishop. That's what I did. This is many, many, many years ago. Anyway, after several trips to the cleaners, fucking lady said, Miss Marie. That's her name, Miss Marie. And she was the best in the business. I'm going to tell you right now. Fuck George Jefferson. Miss Marie, she can get that shit out. Miss Marie said, JD, I can't get this stain out. Fuck you mean? You the best in the business. The stain would not disappear. I don't know where this came from, damn it. I know where it came from. It came from the pain of losing a $1,350 garment. So here you get the goddamn message. That's why all this shit happened to that damn garment. I'm telling you right now. Just so I can tell y'all this portion. The stain could not be removed. Some stains in the garments of your life, they're going to be there. Cain had a stain on him. A mark on his goddamn forehead because he was a murderer. They buried Cain, according to Bible legend, with that mark visible on his forehead. Some stains you ain't going to be able to get rid of. So sometimes you got to get rid of the whole garment. With the law or the Lord, stain got to go. I'm going to move on because I don't want to get stuck there. Stains. The use of my word there is imperative. Got it from you, Marcus. Said you didn't want no more stains in the channel. Well, you fucked that off. Oopsie, you fucked that off. Back to the goddamn message. Because this shit is holy work. Some things don't disappear. Some stains don't disappear. For you believers, they say that, Jesus stained Calvary with his blood. Shabako. And the blood still has its power. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know how many years ago it was. I'm not smart enough to speculate. But they say that many, many years ago, way back on Calvary's cross, that Jesus hung, bled, and died for you believers. And they say that stain is still there. Where? Fuck don't ask me. I don't know. I ain't never seen this shit. But look, they say it exists. Damn it. Millions of people believe it. Blood still has its power. The blood that gives y'all niggas strength. From day to day, it shall never lose its power. You understand me? Some stains don't lose their power. Moving along. Some stains don't disappear. They simply mature and accrue interest. That always accrues interest, my brothers and my sisters. Yeah. You're going to have to pay more than was granted to you. It's the American way. Welcome to America. Well, yeah, them stains mature. Them debts mature. And you see, this ain't about some supernatural force sitting in the clouds waiting to punish you. Now we talk about the laws of man. God damn it. You understand what I'm saying? Them motherfucking laws of man is a bitch. I'm going to tell you right now. And when you break them, damn. Church said amen. Now listen. I'm talking about cause and effect. I ain't talking about your God. I ain't talking about right now. We're gonna talk about cause and effect. Y'all know what the hell cause and effect is? I'm gonna tell you. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you the way I wrote it. To be, and then I'm gonna tell you the goddamn truth. They both gonna be the truth, but I'm gonna give you two goddamn narratives on the damn truth. How about that? Now, cause and effect. Life. Decisions. Creating chains of events. You can throw a stone into the water today, and those ripples can travel farther than you have ever imagined. Now, that's the proper way to say that shit. Here's the bishop way to say that shit. Motherfucker, if you slap me today, don't you be surprised when you got one entering your forehead on Thursday. What's the day? Monday? Thursday. 3 days. 72 hours. Don't be surprised. Now the law gonna be surprised when I give them the explanation. They're gonna be surprised as a motherfucker. And they're gonna take me into custody. But your family ought not to be surprised that you slapped a nigga with no legs or one eye and that shit happened, subsequently. Okay? Boom. There you go. Ripple effect. Mm-hmm. And don't expect what you doled out to be doled back out to you in equal measure. You ain't never gonna get it in equal measure from me. I'm an extremist. God damn it. I'm gonna empty that motherfucker. When they show up, I'm gonna be standing there, snot running down my motherfucking face, crying like a motherfucker, still clicking that motherfucker, click, 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 empty. They gonna be like, oh, this son of a bitch crazy. It's all part of the plan. So what I'm saying is cause and effect. Don't fuck with people with no legs and one eye, too. That's the sidebar and that shit. Moving along. Moving right on along. We're not gonna get stuck there. Nobody say, oh, Bishop out there. You can throw a stone into the water today, and the ripples can travel farther than you ever imagined. Than you could ever imagine. That's why wisdom says, don't just ask what happens if I get caught. You ought to ask, what can this decision become 5 years from now? Do a 5-year plan. Like you like to ask motherfuckers, hey, what's your 5-year plan? I bet you yours didn't include what you about to do for the next 5 years, did it? Did it? 5-year plan and changed on you? Thought you was going to be able to exploit motherfuckers for the next 5 years? Well, guess what? The universe said, hell no. We got to talk about this shit in court. In court. Yeah. Listen! Consequences, repercussions, cause, and effect. Let me stay focused. What can this decision become 5 years from now? It's a question you ought to ask. Because sometimes the bill don't arrive when you made the purchase. Okay, you need an example? Ah, damn, you niggas slow. Okay, boom. Let's say you go to a car dealership, right? Y'all niggas been to a dealership before? Okay, boom. Did you finance it or you cashed out? I don't want to talk to no rich son bitches right now. They just be cashing out, buying shit. Y'all get the fuck on. I need to speak to the motherfuckers that needed that payment. What the payment is every month? No, with the late fee. Tell me with the late fee. So I don't want to be late with this motherfucker. I need to know how much the late fee is. The customer used to ask me that shit. Wait a minute, what the fuck you mean? You plan on being late, nigga? Oh, this is going to be a repo in 3 months. Okay, cool. So listen. When you finance a vehicle, sometimes you get up to 3 months. 90, that's when you know you getting fucked, by the way, just so you know. They protecting themselves from a first payment default, the bank, because they know you such a fuck up that you ain't even gonna make the first payment. They offer you 90 goddamn days before that goddamn first payment. Most motherfuckers 3 months from after getting that shit, they ain't got no money left anyway, because it's always around tax time. But listen, that bill for that new car you just signed on for, it don't come immediately. That's a damn point. Shit, ain't nothing profound there. It takes some things, you know, you gonna get the bill though. Goddamn, you gonna get that bill. Now I'm moving along. Because we just talking. You know, we're just talking here. I'm talking. I'm just talking. Yeah. Sometimes the bill don't arrive when you make the purchase. But that bill coming. Never you mind. That bill is on the way. And here's the other side of that shit. This principle works for good things too. See? Sometimes you do right and you don't immediately see a reward. You help motherfuckers. You remain disciplined. You keep your integrity. You keep building. You keep showing up. And don't shit seem to happen. I said, and don't shit seem to happen. You're doing everything right. And shit still keep going wrong. Motherfucker, don't quit. Don't quit simply because the harvest is late. It's coming. Be cool, nigga. You speeding. Just as negative consequences take time, on the converse, positive take time as well. Any questions? Positive consequences take time as well. The seed doesn't become a tree at 4 p.m. if you planted it at 6 a.m. Amen. Just went through this shit with my daughter with this fucking lemon tree. She keep crying. I don't see no nigga. They took root yet. Shit. 3 to 5 years before you get your first lemon, baby. Put that shit way out in the yard and give it a drainage ditch. And before you do this dumb shit again, Google that shit. Or talk to your daddy first. Amen? Yeah. You ain't gonna get the goddamn tree in the afternoon and you planted it in the morning. Check that off, okay? All right. The seed. Whether you planting destruction or planting purpose, the seed. You got to give the universe enough time, and eventually the fruit shall certainly tell everybody what kind of seed went into the motherfucking ground. The fruit that comes up is going to determine what went in. You'll know a tree by its motherfucking fruit. I also told my daughter, I said, baby, listen, baby girl, look here. You done planted a lemon tree, so don't you be looking for no goddamn pears to come up with this. Hey, you understand? If you plant lemons, Nigga, in 3 to 5 years, you're going to be able to make you some lemonade. But it's going to take 3 to 5 motherfucking years. Because, as I said, this shit take time. You just keep living like Grandma Ethel said. I ain't never understood that. You nigga, you understand that shit now, motherfucker, don't you? Just keep on living, baby. Joan. I thought my name was Joan. The first goddamn 10 years of my life. I sure did. Joan. God damn. My mama named me after a bitch that lived in the ark. What the fuck is wrong with this lady? Anyway, moving right along. Just a little comedy to smooth this goddamn, ass kicking I'm giving you. The truth. Moving along now. Yeah. Give life enough time. And eventually the fruit will tell anybody that'll listen, somebody gonna know exactly what the fuck kind of seed went into the ground. Shit, let me cook. The fuck? That's why I tell you motherfuckers, be careful what you plant during seasons when you think ain't nobody watching. Oh, let me okay, I'll say it so you understand. I'll say it so you niggas hear me, understand me. Be careful what you plant during seasons when you think your God, your Jesus, your Buddha, your universe, your head to let his name Ralph, if that's what you damn believe. If you think they ain't watching, you already done lost. Be careful what you do in them seasons when you think ain't nobody watching. Because the watcher is always watching. They say the watchman is constantly, diligently, fervently on the watch. The Bible says that your God has assigned a watchman over each and every one of you motherfuckers that believe. Watching you when you sucking. Watching you when you fucking. Watching you when you preaching. Watching you when you praising. Watching you. Also says that the watcher don't sleep. Don't slumber. Don't shit. Don't piss. Just watches. You, the believers. The ones that say, oh, God leads me to do this. God leads me to do that. You watched. I'm going to move on because I'm stuck there on that watchman. Need you to understand this is soul-saving work I'm doing here, damn it. Little unorthodox, but still soul-saving. Save your soul. Time has a funny way of revealing what's in that damn crop. Sometimes you plant that seed, and if you don't put a marker on there like my Uncle Son used to do, you don't know what the fuck he done planted. What's that, Unc? I don't know. We'll know when it come up, though. You know how you know, the old farmers used to have a stake in the ground, and they're right on there what it was. Collard greens, you spell all fucked up. Colored green, colored grins. COLORED, and then GRENS. Nigga, you know that's collard greens. In the South. I don't know. Yeah, they ain't spelled that well back then. Yeah, I ain't trying to make fun of nothing. That's what the fuck it was. And you had to figure out what the fuck that was. Orca. The fuck is orca? Uncle Son, what the hell is this? Okra, nigga. Oh, shit. Okra. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that shit. Some of you motherfuckers ain't have the luxury of growing your own shit as a child. I grew up with Ethel Brown. Motherfucker, if you want to eat, better get your ass in that field, nigga. Now, sometimes consequences don't arrive screaming. Yeah, sometimes consequences be like this. Yo, it's time. Fuck is that? Yo, it's time. Then you get that knock on the door. You get that phone call. You get pulled over. Because you always on the motherfucking go. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it arrives quietly in the dead of the night. You know, when I was in the warrant squad, Brooklyn North Narcotics Task Force, hey, go in that bottom drawer and bring me my badge. I just happened to find my old badge, y'all. It's in a black wallet. I just happened to find. Anyway, let's move on along. Sometimes that shit comes unannounced. Most times, actually, because when I was a narcotics task force detective, we used to kick the door in. Yeah, kick the door in. Yeah, I had legs then. What the fuck you mean? We kicked that door in at 4:15 in the morning. 4:15 in the morning. It should be right in the corner of the bottom drawer. 4:15 in the morning. What you doing at 4:15 in the morning? Boy, you sleep like a motherfucker. You just got you a good nut with that sorry motherfucker there you laying with. And off your fucking front door come with the hinges attached. You ain't got time to reach for a weapon. You trying to cover your dick. Hey, look, I'm going to tell you, I had a lot of fun back in the day on that goddamn warrant squad. But anyway, my message is that shit show up like that. You know, it's never when you expected it. Let me see. Yeah, hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. I got a little excited there thinking about my former days. Hold on. Where the fuck we at? Why won't this shit? Okay, here we go. Sorry, y'all. Hey, if y'all enjoying this, hey, Cash App, $ BISHLO. Like, comment, share, subscribe when I find my place here. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm sorry. In the bottom drawer of the nightstand. In the corner. shut up and go sit down. I'm working. Nobody got time to be rubbing you. We almost out of here, y'all. This dog getting on my ass here. Just wrote this shit. Where did it go? Sometimes them consequences, sit down, Connie, arrive quietly. A relationship you can no longer repair. A child who no longer calls. A child who doesn't put no money on your books. An opportunity that doesn't come back. A reputation that takes years to rebuild, if rebuildable. If at all rebuildable. Reputation. A courtroom. A prison surrender date. A family emergency that happens at exactly the moment your previous decisions have taken away your freedom to respond to that responsibility. And suddenly you realize this shit didn't start today. No. Today is just when the harvest showed up. So family, don't live your life asking, what can I get away with? You need to live your life asking, what kind of future am I creating with what I'm doing right now, in the moment, in the present? What kind of future am I creating with my current decisions? Because consequences don't always come quickly. But time has an extraordinary way of connecting yesterday's choices with tomorrow's consequences. Y'all niggas better plan carefully. Choose carefully. Treat people carefully. Protect your integrity carefully. Because sometimes the distance between the decision and the consequences is so long that motherfuckers forget that they are connected. Yeah. Consequences, repercussions, connection, cause, effect, connection. But time didn't forget. And that's your motherfucking word right there. How about that? That's it. That's all I wrote about this Carmine Agnello case. Let's go ahead and close this shit out, y'all. This is how you report the damn news. Shit.
Bishop Low IRL. Powerful live stream wrap up and closing. The consequence may be late, but the lesson is right on time. Family. As we bring this live stream to a close tonight, I don't want to leave you merely talking about John Gotti's grandson. I don't want you leaving here talking only about a kidney transplant. I don't want you leaving here talking only about a federal judge, a prison sentence, or a surrender deadline. Because underneath all of that, there is a life lesson. And sometimes the story in the headline is merely the vehicle that carries the lesson. Carmine Agnello Jr. made decisions years ago. The federal government investigated, charges came, a guilty plea came, sentencing came, and eventually consequences came. But notice something. They didn't all come on the same day. That's life. Sometimes you can make a decision in one season and pay for it in another. Sometimes the distance between the action and the consequence becomes so great that you convince yourself the two are no longer connected. But family, delèche does not mean cancellation. Sometimes consequences walk. Some consequences run toward you. Some consequences take the bus. Some consequences walk. And some consequences take the scenic route. But don't mistake slow for gone. That's where people mess up. They say, I did it and nothing happened. Give it time. I lied and nobody found out. Give it time. I betrayed somebody and my life kept moving. Give it time. I stole and nobody caught me. Give it time. Not because some invisible force is necessarily waiting to strike you down, but because actions create chains of consequences. One decision produces another circumstance. That circumstance produces another. And eventually you find yourself standing somewhere asking, how in the hell did I get here? And sometimes the answer is, you started walking toward this place years ago. And that brings us back to Carmine. Family, here's what makes this particular story so powerful. His consequences didn't arrive at a convenient moment. They arrived while his mother needed him. And that's the part that should make everybody watching think. Because when people jeopardize their freedom, they usually calculate the risk based upon themselves. Can I handle prison? Can I beat the case? Will they catch me? But maybe that's the wrong calculation.
Jerome, appreciate you for stopping through.
Who might need me if they do? What happens if your child needs you? What happens if your spouse needs you? What happens if your father gets sick? What happens if your mother needs you? What happens when somebody you love ends up lying in a hospital bed and your previous decisions have taken away your ability to be there? That's when consequences become bigger than a sentence. Freedom is more valuable than people realize. Family, people don't appreciate ordinary freedom enough. Being able to wake up tomorrow morning and decide, I'm going to see my mother. That's freedom. Getting into your vehicle and driving wherever you choose. Freedom. Walking into your own kitchen. Freedom. Answering your phone whenever you want.
Nah,
Freedom.
Freeze, it's not
Going to the
confirmed that he
hospital
turned
when
himself
somebody
in
you
yet.
love needs you.
It's not confirmed, Freeze.
Freedom. And sometimes people gamble something priceless for something temporary. Money comes back. Cars come back. Houses can be replaced. Businesses can be rebuilt. But there are portions of your life that once they're gone, you don't get them back.
That's a fact.
You can finish a 15-month sentence, but nobody gives you those 15 months back afterward. That's why freedom should never be treated cheaply. And let's not lose Victoria Gotti. Whatever anybody thinks about this family, there is still a mother dealing with serious medical problems. And I don't celebrate that. I don't celebrate sickness because somebody's family has a controversial history.
Shit, I don't celebrate sickness.
I don't
'cause I'm
celebrate
sick.
somebody
Fuck.
potentially losing access to a kidney donor because her son committed a crime. That's not accountability. That's cruelty. We can demand that Carmine answer for what Carmine did without wishing suffering upon his mother. That's the maturity I want us to have on this platform. You can condemn the conduct without losing your humanity. You can say, serve your sentence, while simultaneously saying, I hope your mother gets the medical care she needs. Both can be true. Accountability without hatred. And family, that's something our society desperately needs to relearn. Accountability does not require hatred. I don't have to hate somebody to say, you were wrong. I don't have to destroy somebody to say, you need consequences. I don't have to celebrate somebody's suffering to believe in accountability. Because if punishment turns us into people who enjoy watching human beings suffer, then we need to examine ourselves too. Justice should protect society. Justice should establish consequences. Justice should demand accountability. But justice doesn't require us to abandon compassion. The harvest. So tonight, I want everybody watching to examine your own life. Forget Carmine for 60 seconds. What are you planting? What decisions are you making right now? What relationships are you neglecting? What bridges are you burning? What lies are you telling? What shortcuts are you taking? What responsibilities are you avoiding? And on the other side, what good seeds are you planting that haven't produced anything yet? Because remember what I told you earlier. Consequences work both ways. Maybe you've been doing right for years and haven't seen the harvest. Keep planting. Maybe you've been building something nobody understands. Keep building. Maybe you've been helping people and nobody acknowledges it. Keep helping. Maybe you've been healing wounds nobody else can see. Keep healing, right? Because the same time that allows destructive seeds to mature also allows good seeds to grow. Don't become discouraged because your harvest hasn't arrived. One more thing before we leave, family. When this live stream ends, don't spend the rest of tonight judging Carmine Agnello. Check your own receipts. That's where the real sermon is. Because it's easy to examine somebody else's criminal case. It's easy to examine somebody else's mistakes. It's easy to say, he should have known better. But what are you doing today that your future self may have to answer for? That's the question. Because sometimes the most dangerous sentence in the English language is hash ain't nothing happened yet. That word yet has buried a whole lot of people. You don't need immediate consequences to know something is wrong. You don't need handcuffs to develop integrity. You don't need an indictment to become honest. You don't need prison to understand the value of freedom. Learn the lesson before life has to teach it the hard way. Final Bishop Low closing, family. Tonight we watched the collision of past decisions and present circumstances. A federal conviction, a prison sentence, a sick mother, a potential kidney donation, a judge who had already allowed additional time, a defense asking for more, and eventually, a line had to be drawn. But this story isn't finished. We are still waiting for definitive confirmation of the next stage. And we're going to continue separating confirmed developments from speculation. If there's another court order, we follow it. If there is confirmation concerning federal custody, we report it. If Victoria becomes medically cleared for transplant, we follow that. And if arrangements eventually allow her son to donate that kidney, we'll follow that too. Because we're not here to root for tragedy. We're here to follow the truth. And tonight, the truth leaves us with a lesson. Be careful what you plant. Be careful what you risk. Be careful what you sacrifice for temporary gain, because you never know what season of your life will be interrupted when the consequences finally arrive. Sometimes consequences come tomorrow, sometimes next month, sometimes next year, sometimes years later. But don't confuse delay with disappearance. And at the same time, don't give up on the good you've been planting, just because that harvest is taking its time too. Keep building, keep growing, keep learning, keep healing, keep becoming better. Because your past may explain how you arrived here. Hashed, but your next decision helps determine where you go from here. I'm Bishop Low. This is Bishop Low IRL, First News First. Thank you to everybody who came through. Thank you to everybody who shared the live stream. Thank you to everybody who participated respectfully in the chat. And remember, don't give me the rumor, give me the receipts. As always, be good to yourselves, be good to others, and protect your peace and energy at all costs. Until next time, blessings, and we're out.
Check in later, as we'll be covering Andrew Gillum and his depraved ass. I'm Bishop Lowe, and I'm out this bitch.